Good morning. Oh, I've been waiting for 4:44 to get here. I actually got out of bed a little after 3 o'clock. And you'll notice right off that there are two candles burning behind me, one higher and more bright than the other one, and I purposefully set it up that way. In my meditation room, when I light candles, I don't light candles every day, but when I do, there's four flames burning. And that's the 444 because that's grounding the energy on the earth. And fire and ether or spirit, they are the elements that we have to deal with. And fire is transformational. That's why I burn fire, why I do meditations with candles or in front of the fireplace in the atrium. Anyway, my second year begins today, and I'm going to call it the Year of Angels. That's the title. My second year begins, the Year of Angels. My blurb is, angels are messengers, and they are getting my attention. Year of Angels? It has many meanings. We are becoming more angelic in our nature. We will be having much greater contact with the angelic or interdimensional realm of being. We will recognize and realize our increased ability to accomplish tasks by connecting with our ET nature and working as teams of system busters and world transformers. This will be the year of the greatest awakening in human history. Everything will seem to be accelerating and magnifying. This is the year of human destiny, foretold by the ancients. We are here now. Over the past year, I have faithfully come to the camera on a daily basis and talked about wherever I am, to show what a human life is. It's not always up. It's not always exciting. There are ups and downs. And I don't expect 2012 to be any different than 2011 was in that respect. It will be like a roller coaster ride. There will be high points and low points. Our energies will rise and fall, just like the tide coming in on the seashore. High tide and low tide. That's the nature of life. And I suspect it's the nature of life in more than just Earth, but I don't know that. I know that that's the nature on Earth, and we all deal with it. No matter whether we consider ourselves spiritual, religious, or non-spiritual and non-religious. We're all actually spiritual. Oh, wow. Isn't that interesting? Oh. I had a charcoal wick in there that was standing up, and it fell over. The flame is still going in there, but right now the wax is too deep, and there's not enough wick above the wax, which is interesting. But I set it up as I did on purpose for a particular illustration. We're constantly being bombarded with the fact that they, meaning extraterrestrials or the angelic realm, aren't going to do it for us. Because we can't be looking outside of ourselves for help. Or for rescue is probably a more correct term. Spirit's been saying to me lately, the messengers, whatever, have been saying, but we're not outside of you. We are part of you. we have that higher self, which is why I had that candle that was glowing brightly. I'm going to just take a minute here and see if I can't set that back up. Oops, put it completely out. Sorry about that. I'm not going to relight it. It was an experiment and it worked for a few minutes. Anyway, I'm recognizing that my higher self is angelic in nature. And therefore, so am I. As I connect with it, that nature becomes my nature. And it's true of you, every one of you. So as you allow the marriage, if you will, or the union of your higher self with your human self, your spiritual self with the physical self, a transformation is able to occur that gives you greater empowerment. It gives each of us greater empowerment as we move into this 2012 year. We have the opportunity to literally be system busters. And by system busters, I don't mean that we're fighting in a state of conflict. I mean, we're system busters in the sense that our lights are shining more brightly, like that big candle was behind me before it fell into the wax. And shining brightly into the darkness. See, darkness doesn't have any power of its own. It doesn't. Darkness's only power is by making us afraid of it. When we're afraid of the dark, we empower the dark. But as we shine our lights and we begin to see who we are and to reclaim our birthright and to know that we're always, always, always connected. It's not outside help. It's us. But we've always thought of it as being out there somewhere. Well, in 2012, let's change our thinking a little bit and recognize that there is no separate out there. It's all in here. All of it. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to get help to do something for us. See, as long as we have something that we consider, and bear in mind, it's a consideration. We consider it to be, excuse me, out there. And when we do that, then it's outside help to us when we're asking to be rescued. That's not the way it works. Spirit's saying, excuse me, boy. Spirit is saying, Ron, you are that. And we want you to use the knowledge that you are that. I am that, I am. Use that knowledge to empower yourself right now. It's there for you. Don't think of it as they are doing it for me. Think of it as we are doing it together. And that's true also on the human sense laterally. It's true vertically that our higher self and our physical self, and I don't like to call it lower because there's nothing lower about the physical self. There's nothing lower about it at all. There's nothing evil. There's nothing dirty. There's nothing sinful. There's nothing tainted about being in a physical body. That is a lie that has been perpetuated in religious circles, even in Gnosticism, and maybe especially Gnosticism. The flesh is seen as corrupted. Well, no. The flesh is incorruptible, the same as the spirit is. And by that I mean, the only thing that corrupts the flesh is the belief that it's less than, belief that it's lower than, but it's not. You see, it's all beautiful. As I was in the meditation room today, I was calling on, which is something I don't do every day, but I was calling on the archangels and the angels and the ascended masters. And when I was naming some of them, I didn't even attempt to name them all, but I kept saying, invite Lucifer, invite Lucifer. And you know, there was a reluctance in me, even though I've had Lucifer appear in my meditations before, sometimes beautifully so, bringing tears to my eyes. There's still a hesitancy on my part to include what I consider a dark worker. But Lucifer is a light being. And one of the things that I'm being bombarded with is that everything that I've ever been taught is backwards. It's not the whole picture, therefore limited, but it's backwards. The God of the Old Testament, painted as God, the jealous God, the God that commands murder and annihilation, the God of vengeance, the jealous God, that's the devil. The one that we've called God all this time is really the evil one, the dark one. But the dark one had a purpose. Now, it changed its identity. It lied to us, that entity. But I want you to see, it's not out there. It's in here. As above, so below. As below, so above. It's all been a divine drama of creation that allowed us to perceive what we are not so that we could remember what we are. And that's what's happening in 2012. It was starting last year, and it did a great deal of work, accomplished a great deal of work last year in the awakening. But this year it's even more, as we recognize that Lucifer and Christ are ultimately the same energy, dancing with each other. And the dance takes place in us. And we separate this from that. And we say, I am this, but I am not that. And Spirit saying, Ron, get it. You are both. It's not an either or proposition. It's a both and proposition. The Eastern philosophies have it right. I am this and that. I am both. I am the human and the angel. As we recognize this, we become the system busters, shining the light into a system that separates and divides and pushes away and resists. We bust the system by stopping our resistance, by integrating that which we think was not me, was not us. Because that is us too. And that busts the system which is built on the lie of separation, the only real illusion. I keep saying that over and over again. It's the only real illusion. It's the only big lie, because we are not separate. There's no inside and outside. There only is what is, and it's all us, each of us. And as we do that, we transform the world. As we do that, I mean as we see from that perspective. As we take on that mantle of unity and of wholeness, we transform everything about our individual lives and our collective experience. We transform it all. We are the ones we've been waiting for, is what the natives, the indigenous peoples of North America have been saying for a long time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Not something out there. But out there is in here. It is us. And so my challenge for 2012 and for this second year of making videos, and I hope to God it's not a full year, but I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be. I'm taking it one day at a time. If I'm learning anything, it's to be in the present and to pay attention. Pay attention to the energies that are shifting and moving and challenging me, and it's all good. It's all good. Especially, it's good when we let it all in and we don't push out. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't have boundaries in our relationships with each other. That's not what I'm talking about. We have to move away from those that might harm us, or that we have the perception that they would harm us, until we can see. But the energies, see it, that even the so-called dark energies are here to dance with us. And if we can stop the dueling, and I've said this so many times, if we can stop the dueling in duality, we can turn the duality into a dance. It doesn't eliminate the duality, but it makes it serve life instead of serving the wake-up, because that's all it's been. When it doesn't serve life, it's just the wake-up call. It's just getting our attention and saying, look at what you create when you think you're separate. Look at it. Look at it. This is the kind of world you create. This is the kind of life you experience when you think you're separate. Is that what you want? Or do you want to be God? And by God, I mean all it is. I mean creator. I mean the source. Because we are the source of our experience. We are the only source of our experience. We've collectively created this thing that we've called human life. And now we're collectively being given the opportunity to recreate it anew, not based on the experience and the lie of separation, but based on the reality of interconnectedness in a beautiful web of life, in a tapestry that is so magnificent it blows the mind and allows us to love, because we understand that what we do to anyone, we do to ourselves. I leave you with these thoughts, and I challenge you, as I'm challenging myself and being challenged, to stop thinking of outside help, because there is no outside. It's all an inside job, and it always has been. Namaste.